In the last month, I've seen Avatar 2 3 times. It's the first movie in years I've seen that many times in theaters. And in this video, I'm gonna discuss what about this movie drew me in to see it in a way that no other movie has really drawn me in a long time. Let's get into it. I know you're probably thinking, hey Jack, why are you posting this review? You've already posted so many recently. But anyway, I'm glad to be back. Hopefully I get on a better schedule. I want to let you know that I'm not going to be doing the reviews right after the movie comes out anymore. I really want to take my time with them in a way that stands out from the crowd and is more of a retrospective rather than an instant reaction. I'm still going to do instant reactions, but probably just not as much. I'm probably going to talk about some older movies and some stuff like that as well. So first I want to talk about the cast of Way of Water. First of all, I think Sam Worthington as the lead Jake Sully is really solid here. He brings through a lot of emotion to his performance that I think really works here, and I think we feel for him in a way that's a new dimension from his previous character. Now he's a family man, he's got people to support, and we really feel that in his performance, and he communicates that very well. And I also think his new family in this film brings a lot of different flavors to the film, and overall it's really good. Sigourney Weaver, who is 73 years old, plays a pretty convincing teenager, and I think that she fits the part of Kiri really well. Kiri kind of has this classic feeling that I think Sigourney Weaver communicates very well. But if I didn't know it was Sigourney Weaver, I really wouldn't have questioned if she was a teen in the movie. She does a great job. And Stephen Lang is returning as Quaritch in this movie, a kind of a different version, but he's also quite solid in this movie. I wouldn't say he's necessarily a standout, but he's definitely a serviceable villain for the film that I think overall works pretty well. Better than the first movie. Zoe Saldana returns as Neytiri in this film, and I think she's overall pretty good here. I think her performance to me was more solid the first time I watched it, and overall she's really solid, but I will say that a few times in the more emotional scenes of the film, I think that her performance can sometimes feel just a little bit grating and a little bit annoying, and that's become more progressively annoying to me as I've continued to watch. It's not that she doesn't do a good job or is unrealistic in the part, but the way that some of those scenes were played just felt a little bit overdone and got on my nerves a bit while I was watching, especially in the second and third watches. I don't think it was like untrue to the character or anything, I just think that it was a little bit annoying at times. I think that the absolute best part of the film is being able to live in the world of Pandora, especially the water world that we get to kind of be introduced to in the film. There are long sequences where we just get to experience the world with the characters who are learning the world and learning the ropes, and we get to learn it along with them. And these are some of the most beautiful scenes I've seen in a mainstream film in years, maybe ever. The only thing I can really think that tops this is some of the Studio Ghibli films and the film Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. That's one of my favorites. But there's just this peacefulness and experience you get into that's unlike really anything I've seen in recent memory. If you go into this film expecting non-stop action throughout, you may be disappointed, but if you allow yourself to kind of experience what James Cameron has created in this film, I think like me, you'll kind of come to love it and really be taken aback by the film's beauty and what it's trying to do. And trust me, it's worth every penny to go see this movie in 3D. Every single time that I've seen this movie, 3 times, I've paid the extra $3.50 to see it in 3D. It's worth it. It just jumps off the screen so well and just fits everything that it should be to go see a 3D movie. I would have to say, without really much of a doubt, these are the best visual effects that I've ever seen in a movie. Where many times in the film it feels real, it feels visceral and tangible in a way that no other CG film has really ever gotten close to for me. The performance capture is so good in this that sometimes it feels even more real than a live action film. It's that good. The emotions that are portrayed through these characters in the film just feel so real, and they feel so clean and unfiltered through the mocap. I mean, Avatar 1's mocap was good, but really here the performance capture that they're getting is just next level. It's really amazing. For instance, there's this one scene towards the end, and skip this if you haven't seen the movie, it's slight spoilers. Skip to this timestamp if you don't want to see it, but there's this scene towards the end where Jake Sully is stuck in this sinking ship with his son, and he's almost on the verge of death. He's not sure if he can make it out of the ship alive. And in that moment, there's just this beautiful emotion that comes across his face. It's fear, it's like disappointment, and almost a little bit of pride in his son as well. It's just this complex emotion that's communicated so clearly through the motion capture in a way that sticks out to me and pulls me in every single time I've watched this film. I've never commented on a specific shot of a specific emotion before, but it's that good. Like it really captures it in a way that I've never seen before, in a way that just draws you in so well. It's at the level that I've never seen CG get close to communicating before. The closest is Thanos, but I wouldn't say it's that close to what it's done in this film. I think the action in Avatar: The Way of Water is also really solid, even though it's confined to maybe the last hour and a half of the movie. There are some really kinetic moments, and if this is something you're into, there are also some quite satisfying kills. There's stuff you're like, yes, in the theater when it happens. It's really great to see, especially when you're seeing it on a second time where you can expect it and then you're just waiting for these things to happen. For a PG-13 film, it really packs a punch in that way. The story, I would say, in this film is probably its weakest point, though I don't think it's as bad as some people have been saying it is. I just don't think it's unique or textured enough to match up to the film's most beautiful moments. That really is what draws me in. I've heard a lot of people say that it's just another Pocahontas movie. It's not. I think the first one definitely has some of those elements. This one really breaks free of that mold, and while the story is predictable at times, it's never felt annoying in that way, and I can say after seeing it 3 times, every time I see it, I care less and less about the plot and more about the emotion and the grandeur of the story that they're telling. There's also another MacGuffin like unobtainium in the first one, but I think this one works better. It's more related to the characters and the heroes in the story, and it makes for a clearer conflict. I think the first one was a little bit lamer, but I do still think that having just a MacGuffin as a motivation is a little bit lame, and it doesn't always work great. However, that said, even though the plot can be a bit bland at times, the emotion really still comes through in this film. It's a heartfelt family story that I've come to love more and more every single time I watch it. Without spoilers, there's a scene towards the end of Avatar: Way of Water that just is heart-melting every time I see it. And in that way, the score is also really nice. It's using a lot of the themes that the late James Horner developed, but they're used in really interesting ways here. And I think it works really well for the most part to elevate the emotions in the story. Somehow, Avatar: The Way of Water never has felt too long to me, even clocking in at 3 hours and 12 minutes. This is the first movie in 2 or 3 years that I've seen 3 times in theaters, and at 190 minutes, for me to be drawn in and totally engaged, never bored throughout that runtime 3 times, is extremely impressive. It hasn't gotten tired out, instead it's gotten better and better with each rewatch. I will probably see it again before it eventually goes out of theaters, and I'm really excited for the next one, even the next 3 that are coming out in the next few years. On a first watch, I would have given Avatar 2 like a 7.5 out of 10. It was pretty good on the first watch. I think it was comparable to the first Avatar, which I thought was fine. I didn't love it though. But as I've went back and re-experienced it, it's gotten better and better every time. I would say that the second and third watches were definitely significantly better than the first time I saw it. This movie is top 3 for me of last year, which is insanely impressive. I'd never expected that from an Avatar movie. I'm gonna give Avatar 2 an 8.5. You guys have to go see it in theaters while it's still in there. It's really amazing, and make sure to grab some 3D glasses along the way. It's totally worth it. So what did you think of Avatar: The Way of Water? Put it down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, hopefully I'll be getting back into doing this a little bit more. I really enjoy this, and I'm excited to do more in the future. That's about it.